Kathy Keeler is working on a longer speech. She'll be giving a little section of that. Speaking to a form manual, correct? Got Chris putting...
Good.
You're good? Go ahead, Chris, give us her objectives.
So Kathy is working on the abstract concept, and her objectives are to research and analyze an abstract concept, theory, historical force, or social political issue, and present the ideas in a clear, interesting manner. And clarity is something that she's really trying to shoot for. Is the 6 to 8 minute time correct? 6 to 8 minutes.
Kathy is working on a talk that is part of the Loveland Museum Gallery for Chinese New Year. The topic is A Wandering Portrait in China. I actually think that's the title. Is that right?
A Wandering Botanist in China is my
That's right.
title for them. So they understand Chinese New Year.
Okay. She's working on Chinese New Year's. Please help me welcome Kathy Keeler.
I believe I got the handout to everybody. We'll get to that in a minute. February 8th is the beginning of the new Chinese year. It's the first day of the year of the fire monkey. Why would somebody start their new year in February? And what's a fire monkey? That's what I want to discuss now. Just like us, the Chinese see New Year as a new beginning, a time for things to perhaps get better. Just like us, they have a calendar that uses both the sun and the moon as time changes. But in a principle that I see especially in computer software, no two people solve the same problem exactly the same. Therefore, for example, both we and the Chinese divide up the year into 4 seasons, spring, summer, fall, winter. And we both recognize that the shortest day of the year is in the middle of winter, the winter solstice, and that by mid-spring, March, the days are the equal length at the spring equinox. We start winter with the winter solstice, and we start spring with the spring equinox. The Chinese center winter on the winter solstice. So half of winter is before the solstice and half of winter is after. They do the same thing for spring. Half of spring is before the equinox and half is after. Now they like the idea of New Year should be the beginning of spring. But their spring begins halfway between the equinox, the solstice, and the equinox, which is sometime in January. In addition, they would like their month, New Year, to start at the beginning of a month. Now their months, like ours, are tied to the moon. But our months are arbitrary length, and they've been fixed, and in fact they're unequal in length. Not the Chinese. Their months follow the actual moon cycle. Every month, the 15th of the month is the full moon. Every month begins with the new moon. Every month ends the day before the next new moon. But of course, as we all know, the number of moon cycles and sun cycles are both unequal numbers, and they don't come out even. So if you want to start your new year with a whole month, it's going to jump around. So after the beginning of spring, as set by the sun calendar, they take the first new moon, and that's the beginning of the new year. This year, that's February 8th in our reckoning. Last year, it was February 19th. Next year, it'll be January 28th. So that's the particular year. But what's a fire monkey? We look at time as flowing. We started counting with the birth of Christ, and we're just going to go on counting. The Chinese see time as a cycle. The day has a cycle, the year has a cycle, the multiple years have a cycle. And long ago, they set up that cycle with this, what this is called in the poor translation, terrestrial branch of the animals that you recognize as the Chinese zodiac. And I put that's on this handout. And I put the monkey in bold, not so much because that's next year, but because that's the beginning of their cycle. And when they get through to the goat, they start over and do it again. But that's a simplification for us, for the Westerners. In China, there's a second cycle that I put to the left, the celestial stem. And that's based on the 5 elements that the Chinese see as underlying everything. And they cycle through wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. Somewhere long ago, those doubled so that there's I would say a natural version and a human version. Each gets a year, or today they'll say a yang version and a yang version. So it takes 2 years, and we have a different wood cycle, 2 wood cycle years. And the cycle turns so that the terrestrial branch and the celestial branch move together. And with that, one of them 5 long and the other 12 long, it takes them 60 years to repeat. Now, the Chinese never really counted years, because since 220 BC, they've had an emperor over all of China, which is the size of the United States. And those guys frequently wanted time to begin with them and not the guy before. So the formal historians had to say, in the 2nd year of the Kangxi Emperor, in the 9th year of the Tianming Emperor. But the people were already doing this double cycle of the celestial stem and the terrestrial branch. So they found it easier to say, in the year of the fire monkey, in the reign of the Tianming Emperor. And because only one of China's emperors ever reigned for more than 60 years, that was totally clear. Okay, it was the red fire monkey year. In that year of the particular emperor, that was only 1 year, only applied to one thing, and it was clear. They didn't number them then. They referred to them in terms of these 2 cycles. And 60 years is a long time. I'm actually sitting here in front of a sign that says, okay, but sometimes we go back more than 60 years. And then you would say, this was started in the 78th cycle, because we're currently in the 79th cycle. And the last year of the fire monkey was 1956. But we don't normally need to refer to that very often. Most of us don't think about it. And so the 2 things, fire monkey or water dragon or something like this, are totally sufficient to explain the year that you're reasonably referring to. And not only that, mostly we don't even need all that information, because we're not talking about a 60-year period. We're talking about this year, last year, next year, year of the ram, year of the monkey, year of the rooster coming up. Therefore, as we are here just going into the year of the fire monkey, take advantage of the fact that when we hit the first day of the year of the fire monkey, we are looking at the beginning of spring in the Chinese system, and enjoy the contrast between their numbering system and ours.